name's Darren Higgins and I'm a guitar builder from Northern Ireland. And this will be the first of many videos that we're going to be doing about pretty much everything to do with building guitars, fixing guitars, setting them up and anything in between. And also we're not just going to be doing guitar related videos on our video channel. We're going to be also doing quite a few woodworking videos as well, because really the two go hand in hand, and there might be a couple of wee electronic videos in there about wiring up guitars and other things that get there, but mainly between woodworking and guitar related stuff is what's going to be happening. Well, we already have quite a bit of footage ready to go. Some of it needs to be edited and some of it is from projects that aren't fully finished yet, but they'll be up on the internet soon enough, hopefully, and for people to watch. And if they want to drop any comments or any kind of feedback is welcome. But the first couple of videos that we're looking to do really is just sort of an introduction into how to basically be able to diagnose a guitar. You know, say in a scenario where you're going to buy a guitar, a second-hand guitar, and you want to give it the once over, but you want to be very certain about, you know, all the steps to go through to really root out any kind of problems that are going to be niggling you further on down the line. So we're going to grab a couple of guitars here and we're going to go through these guitars and we're going to point out different areas to look at and things like that. Okay, well, the first guitar we're going to look at is an electric guitar, and this is a copy of a Fender Strat. Now, most people know this guitar, it's really, really famous. This was the one that was made famous by Jimi Hendrix and people like that. But as I said, this is a copy of the Strat, and this is more popular. There's more of these sold than there is Strats sold, and if you're buying a guitar, this is definitely a good bet for a beginner. Now, the things to look out for when you're buying a guitar like this here is a nice straight neck is always one of the first things you should look for. If the neck isn't straight, it's just going to cost too much money to put right. And the best way to check if the neck is straight is like this. You take the guitar in this kind of position where you're looking from the top of the neck to the bottom of the neck. Okay? And you want to sight straight down the neck and hold the head of the neck around sort of chin, chest level kind of area. And as you move the neck up towards your eye line, you should see a shadow running from the bottom of the neck the whole way to the top, or even the light catching the frets should catch it, so the shine of the light catching the fret should run up the neck towards you. But it should run up nice and consistently. It shouldn't run halfway up the neck and then jump to a different point of the neck. It shouldn't like run, say, halfway up the neck and then jump back to the middle and then run up a bit of the middle. If that there happens, avoid that guitar. It's going to be too hard to put right. It's going to cost a lot of money to put right. And you'll usually find problems like that there happen with cheaper guitars. The wood that the neck is made from isn't real good, high quality premium wood, so you know the string tension is eventually going to get to it. Another thing about guitars that are cheap is usually they're not sold with cases or hard cases. Sometimes they just come in a cloth case, and that cloth case, the guitar is put into it and the guitar is sat up against the wall on its head, and that weight on it year after year will put the neck out of alignment as well. Another thing you have to check as well, you don't just depend on looking at it like that, okay, because that can only tell you so much. Another thing you want to look at is you want to hold down in and around where the neck meets the body. Even if it's an acoustic as well, you want to do this exact same test. And the way I do it is I use the palm in my hand and just tap your finger off the string somewhere around the middle of the 2 points where you're holding down. So you hold down the first fret, and in this case I'm actually holding down, say, the sort of 15th and tapping in and around that area. And do that on all the strings. And make sure when you're holding these down that you're actually holding it right down against the frets. And it should tap for every string. There should be a wee bit of movement. So that lets you know that whenever these strings are held down, that kind of a manner. Now, this is exaggerating it slightly, but this is very, very important. There should be a wee bit of relief in the neck. Now, if it's bowed the other way, that could be a problem, but if you loosen the truss rod, which is on a Strat type guitar, it's in here. So if you loosen the truss rod, that will take the tension off the neck and allow the neck to come back into alignment. Now, just for anybody who doesn't know, truss rod is a rod that is put into the back of this neck. Now, sometimes it's put in through the front, but the back of this neck it's put in, and what its job is, it pulls the neck back this way. So it counteracts what the strings are doing. The strings are pulling the neck forward. The truss rod is balancing it by pulling it back the ways. Okay, so this is the first guitar that we're going to look at, and this is a Strat copy, and it's an electric guitar, and to be honest with you, these guitars are really, really popular. Like, I've been playing guitar for between 15 and 20 years, God knows, I don't even know how long I've been playing, but as I said, these guitars were popular whenever I started, and this was one of the very first guitars that I, came across, and it served me well, and to be honest with you, it still serves me well. It never really gave me any trouble over the years. Like, I learned how to do all the setup and breakdown of a guitar on this thing. I learned a lot on it, but a couple of the things that I will point out: if you're going to buy a Strat copy, don't buy one unless it's been, made by Stratocaster themselves or verified by them. So basically what I mean by that there is, if I take the camera in close, you can see here it says Stratocaster. It says here Square by vendor, and then small over here, Stratocaster. Now, this one was actually made in Indonesia. Right, so if I was to buy this out of Indonesia and it wasn't by vendor, I could guarantee you that it would be a ball of junk. But because it had to pass their kind of restrictions and their quality control, it had to pass vendors' quality control. It had to live up to a certain expectation, and it had to be a guitar that was worth the money in vendors' eyes. And the vendor have a lot to lose, so they're not going to put their name to something that isn't going to make the player happy, And at the end of it, this is a bargain. This guitar is an absolute steal. Once you buy a guitar like this and you get it set up right, it's good. Like, I play this even today after all these years, and it still makes me happy. So it's definitely a guitar that you could live with for a long time, and it only costs about £200 versus, £2,000 for a new one. Or sorry, not a new one, but a USA Fender Strat. Now, you can get a Mexican Strat as well. They're slightly better again than these, but they're still not as good as the original made in the USA Strat. Now, a couple of wee areas that I could say, the actual wood for this guitar had been bought by vendor, right? And they would put the wood through an inspection process before it ever gets turned into a guitar, and their wood guys would be looking at this wood and going, I don't know if that grain's straight enough, and they would put that into a pile then, and that pile would either be split then into, they put it into 3 piles, right? Wood that's good enough to be used for a USA Strat, which is the highest quality graded wood, which is usually known as master grade or AAA grade, and then the lower grades just have less A's added to the wood. So this one here never made it to the Mexican Strat pile of wood, but it ended up going to the Indonesian Strat wood. So they would, all the sort of offcuts and parts that they couldn't use in their own guitars would go on to the Indonesian factories and the Mexican factories and be turned into guitars there. So this wood is pretty good. It just wasn't, the grain wasn't straight enough, or maybe there was a nut, or there might have been, in a long board, there might have been a twist in the board. But they can plan that out in the building process. But even at that, they still want the most straightest boards, straightest grain, tight grain, all that sort of stuff. All comes into consideration when it uses the wood. So this is all the right kind of wood, right neck wood, right body wood, right material for the nut you're not going to get as high a quality machine heads. The pickups aren't as high quality. The bridge, things like that, all this sort of stuff isn't as high quality. But the wood is, it's not a million miles away from being really high quality. Let me think. Okay, so if I was going to go into a shop and I was going to look at buying this guitar, I'd want to first of all know my price point. I'd want to know how much this guitar should cost new and how much it should cost second hand, and if there's problems, how much them problems are going to cost to put right. Okay, this guitar first out needs set up. It needs the intonation set up, and you'll see later in the videos what the intonation is, but the intonation just means that the guitar will be in tune the whole way up the neck. So when you tune a guitar in, when you play a chord down here, that chord will be in tune. But if the intonation isn't right, by the time you get up here, it's not in tune. So that costs money to put right, 20 or 30 pound up to 40 pound, depending on who's doing it for you. If the string heights aren't right, that's something that's easy enough to do yourself. Pickups, if they're not working right, you either need to rewire them yourself if you can do it, or get somebody else to do it. And it depends who you go to and what they're going to charge. And if you do end up having to get a rewire done on your guitar, make sure that you ask them to use shielded wire, because a lot of people won't use shielded wire unless the guitar that they're handed is, up in the 700 to 1,000 pound mark and above. A lot of people just put in the cheapest wire they can find and things like that there. And once you get that guitar back, plug it in, it'll buzz. It'll be like humming. Look at there. It'll sound like a monk is in the corner of your room humming at you. Okay. Other things you want to look out for is loose hardware. So check all these components, make sure they're tight and seated in right. Some of these parts will move, right, and some of them won't move until you take the tension off the strings. So that's one of the things you want to do. And don't be scared to ask, okay, can I just detune this guitar, because I want to just check if all the parts are loose or are in right. And 9 times out of 10, if they're not loose, it doesn't take any more than 5 minutes and the most basic tools to tighten things up.